Hey guys, welcome back to City Skylines and to Cool Down Town specifically. Time for us to chat a little bit about the beginner's guide, what we felt about it. Specifically, we'll be talking about what I felt about it. You guys are welcome to share how you felt in the comments. Thinking about my initial reaction, that being that whether the story was good or not depended on... You guys a little. Oh, you're already residential zoned. What's the problem with those? Oh, sorry. I really should just stop pretending like it's a good idea to play games while I'm talking about how I feel about other games. My initial reaction was that whether the game was good depended on whether the story was real, whether the actual drama that had started the creation of the game transpired. And I've realized that the truth is it doesn't matter whether Coda was a real person, or whether Davey ever knew somebody like Coda. Because it doesn't matter whether Coda was a real person whose feelings were actually displaced. It matters that that is our perception of what transpired. So I'm going to lay that whole bed to rest, I'm going to lay that whole thing to rest and just say that what matters is how the story made me feel, and the story, I will say, really made me feel strongly. In terms of getting my emotions riled up, it did a great job of that. But specifically, the emotions that it riled up were that I think that the narrator, and I'll stop addressing it as Davey, because for all I know, this entire story is fictional. The narrator was a bad friend. We all know he's a bad friend. The story is about him being a bad friend. But I think it wasn't in any way a redemption for him to reach out and apologize, because I don't think that it was about him trying to make amends to Coda. I think it was about him trying to relieve his own guilt. And I think Coda took it a little far, maybe? But I can't say that I blame the guy for feeling resentful that a man who apparently valued him as such an artist was now trying to analyze him in every way possible and overanalyze his work that he was creating, as far as we know, for fun. I guess I understand the resentment on Coda's part, but at the same time I really do get how, from the perspective of your friend creating these games, they seem kind of concerning. I think everybody overreacted. You know what? I'll just abbreviate it to that. I think everybody freaked out more than they should have. I think that the creator of the game, the narrator, could have laid off, could have taken things a little bit easier on Coda, and I think that Coda could have just said, "Dude, relax, I'm fine," and the narrator might have been more convinced about believing him. So ultimately, I think everybody overreacted. Can't say I especially sympathized with any of the characters, but I will say, God, how much power do we need? More, apparently. We need more. But I have got to applaud it for the way that it made me have this knee-jerk, visceral, emotional reaction. So you know what? I'll say that this game was a good game. In terms of being a character-driven, good, interesting story, I would agree that it fulfills those requirements. Definitely didn't fulfill my requirements of looking for something more relaxed and fun and lighthearted than This Is the Police. Actually did the opposite and got me more stressed out than This Is the Police did. It's going to be like a cakewalk going back to the double homicides and hostage situations. But I cannot fault it for succeeding as a story-driven game with, I will say, beautiful scenery and music as well. Wow, for somebody who only ever does his job occasionally when there's nothing better for me to do, I'm apparently an excellent mayor. Glad to hear it. I will keep up the good work, as long as I only have to do it once for every game series that I put out on YouTube. Oh, you and your garbage. Wait, do we not have some place to take the garbage? Well, I can see how that might be an issue. Let's put the garbage way over here. Then we're going to have to power it. What else did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about the beautiful environments, because although I touched on them, I will say that where I think, as much as I was engaged in the story, I think where the game most succeeded was in its visual storytelling, in the prison, in the way that it made the stage lights popping up really startle me. I've got to say, what really I think pulled it off and really made the game engaging for me was the way it could take the simple graphics that were believably created by an amateur in his spare time and make them seem beautiful. Everything seemed simple but elegant, believable but extraordinary. And I think that was where I think it really managed to rope me in and get me to suspend my disbelief long enough to tell the story of two friends making games together until they stop making games together and also stop being friends. Music soundtrack was pretty good. Liked the tunes overall. Really no complaints about it, I've got to say. It was, for what... I only wish that I had been better informed going into it with what to expect. That is, I guess, the closest thing I have to a complaint. Because everything else really surpassed expectations. It was just that my expectations were like for an entirely different genre, is I think sort of the key issue. And to go back one more time to the story, what keeps kind of circling around in my head is that, God, I really should have built the industry farther away. You know, I'm gonna zone more industry over here so I can eventually turn this area back into neighborhoods and get the pollution out of there. What keeps whirling around in my head is that the whole practice really seems, pardon my French, a bit masturbatory, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem sort of indulgent? I mean, and everything that I'm saying here is a ringing endorsement of the game, because again, I'm just talking about the narrator, and I'm talking about how he kind of seems like a bit of a jerk to me, and how I don't think he ever really did learn his lesson. Because I think all he's interested in are the good feelings, instead of the feelings of validation that he got when he was showing off Coda's games. He just wants a feeling of relief now. All he's ever done is chase good feelings, regardless of how Coda felt about releasing his games, about how Coda felt about forgiving him. All that ever mattered was him. And holy crap. Okay, I've got to upgrade. This game, I recommend it. Because I have never felt this silly amount of kind of morally outraged about a video game character before. In Grand Theft Auto, I have driven up to total strangers, put a shotgun round in their gut, and walked away with a smile on my face. But in this game, the way a guy treated his friend is kind of pissing me off, and it's just pissing me off the more I talk about it. So, alright, my official recommendation is that everybody should play this game, because it is beautiful, it sounds beautiful, and it really tells an engaging and believable story. So I think that's all I really need to say regarding the beginner's guide. Thanks as always for watching, my friends. Nice to see Cool Down Town slowly growing into, what was it? Was it like a beautiful hamlet? Worthy Village, not Hamlet yet. Did we pass Hamlet? Oh, yeah, we passed Little Hamlet. That's what I was thinking of. So, upon our return, hopefully, Cool Down Town will begin to grow. I don't know when we'll see it again, but hopefully it won't be too long. Thanks for watching as always, guys, and have a great weekend. Later days. This is all I wanted, you moody son of a bitch! Coda, Davy, Kodavy, whoever you are, all I ever wanted was to bounce happily between blocks forever. I just wanted something light and fluffy to finally cleanse my palate of all the dead hookers I've had to deal with, and the dead children, and the clown with the cocaine.